So the silence of nature sort of highlights what you've got going on. But I have discovered that if you go for some hours, or as I did some days, you do begin to settle down and become more quiet internally. And when that happens, it's like, for me anyway, that you're just drawn to certain spots, that there's powerful energy vortexes in nature that we gravitate to when we're more quiet, that we can feel. I have my, I could call it my church in nature, these places where I go to meditate, because just the thought of going there makes me feel blissful and ecstatic. So you have to really trust your intuition, and you have to allow yourself to go towards places that they make you feel good. I mean, I can't really say more than that.
Right.
You just know.
It feeds the soul, really.
It does.
Because we're all part of nature. We're all part of that life force that we talk about.
And of course there are the ley lines and the power spots. There are the chakras of Earth itself is a living being. I mean, there are places like Glastonbury Tor, for example. There are these powerful vortexes on Earth that pilgrims have been going to for generations. So it's a phenomena that we all can plug into. But I know here in the north, where up until recently anyway, there hasn't been that many tourists. So there have been places that are relatively untouched by tourism, and where there is a deeper silence, which is so satisfying.
Yeah, and everyone needs to search out what feeds their soul, and then make that a regular spot.
I know, for example, this is really cool for Copenhagen, because I do live in the town that not too far north. It's only about a half hour from Copenhagen in the north. That there are some remains of an ancient forest where there are ancient oak trees, which are between 500 and 1,000 years old. To sit one with your back to one of those trees. It's such a powerful experience. I mean, the Druids of old, they believed that the oaks were portals to the higher realms, and I'm sure it's true. So there's something about the ancient trees. Just think about it. Like, I have one of my favorites. It must be close to 1,000 years old. When you sit there, it's like, wow, this tree has been here for a long time. For the changes that it has seen. And you just feel better. It's a good. I mean, I recommend it in this book too. That if you sit or tree hugging, but also if you sit with your spine against a big tree like that,
right?
How it grounds you, how it helps you get grounded. So nature is wonderful for us.
Absolutely. So, talking about the different exercises that are in the book. Would you like to share a few?
I would like to share a few. Before we run out of time, I would also like to say to our listeners that right now I'm giving away a free ebook called Understanding the Way the Mind Works, The Mental Laws. This book is a short introduction to all the things we have been talking about on this show. So if any of our listeners would like to have a free ebook, all you have to do is go into my website, as Deborah said, beamteam.com, BEAMTEAM.com, and on the very front page it will tell you how you can get your free ebook, and we'll send it to you. So I just wanted to get that in before it was too late.
Yes, very good. And the show will be heard a number of times, so others can share with their family members and friends so that they can get that free ebook as well.
But to go back to the exercises, so the book is actually, this book, The Road to Power, is just filled with exercises. The whole book has different things that you can do immediately. But I would say probably the easiest one, and the one that anybody listening to can start right now, I'd like to share that one. There is a world-famous mantra. This is not something that I figured out. A world-famous mantra by a French doctor named Émile Coué, and his mantra, his universal affirmation was, and if you want to write it down, please do, every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. This guy, Émile Coué, he was a doctor, a French doctor, and it was in the 1800s, and he had all kinds of people coming to him with all kinds of problems and sicknesses and whatever. And he found out that there was something deeper going on, and so he wanted to help people reprogram their subconscious minds. And so he developed this affirmation, every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. And his prescription was that he gave it to all of his patients. It didn't matter what was wrong with them, what they came for. That the prescription was that you were supposed to say this affirmation out loud with feeling 15 times in a row, 3 times a day. So, so that means that you can't say every day. You have to really say it. You have to think about what it says. I mean, first of all, if you think about what it says, every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. It doesn't say anything specific. It doesn't say how it's going to happen, but it is sort of this general every day in every way. And then if you think about it with feeling, if you really believe it, I have done it in all kinds of workshops. I've done it with school kids. Kids actually really love this affirmation. I mean, you have this kids project, try it with kids. They love it because it has such good energy. And the other thing about this mantra affirmation is because it's like 150 years old. Millions of people around the world have been saying this with feeling over and over again. So somehow or other, when you do it, you sort of plug into this energy, this getting better and better energy. So the recipe is a minimum of 3 times a day. Once in the morning, 15 times in a row out loud with feeling. And then in the middle of the day, 15 times in a row out loud with feeling. And then in the evening. And I also say to people, like, a really good way to do it is to do it when you look at yourself in the mirror, because you cannot lie then. You have to see if you're doing it really with feeling, with enthusiasm. The other thing I have found out, I have actually had people come to me in coaching who were severely depressed or really, really felt bad. And this one exercise has turned things around for them. I had a guy who was, he was diagnosed with depression, and he was just about to commit suicide, and somehow he had heard about me, and I never actually even met him. He called me on the phone, and we talked on the phone, and he was so depressed and didn't want to live anymore, and so the only thing I gave him was this mantra, and I told him to say it all the time, whenever anything negative came up. And so he started doing it. He had a job. He was a carpenter, and he worked in, when they were building houses and stuff. And he told me that he put it on his phone, and that when he was really, really feeling bad at work, he would go out in the toilet and he would say the affirmation out loud. And after 3 weeks, he called me and he said, "Barbara, what have you done to me? I'm so happy." And it was like a miracle. And then he got a new girlfriend, and they got married, and they got a child, and I mean, he was like, and I actually didn't work with him more than this one affirmation. So you will see people riding bikes in Copenhagen saying, every day and every
well, it brings to mind I think John Lennon or the Beatles. That's one of their songs. It was in one of their songs.
Exactly. It's getting better.
Hear it better.
Exactly.
And better.
Exactly. I mean, it's a great affirmation. Better and better.
Yes.
Better.
So we only have a couple minutes left. Do you have another?
Well, I would say that in general, that the most important affirmation is what you focus your attention on grows in your experience. So what are you focusing your attention on right now? To ask yourself constantly. One of the other ones that I have in the book is called the 7-Day Mental Diet, which is, again, putting yourself on a regime where, that I'm every time a negative thought comes up and I notice I'm having a negative thought, that I switch my attention. I substitute the negative with something positive. I replace the negative with something positive. So to start to play around with noticing what you're focusing on, and then when your focus is not serving you, shift it to something else. And that's the key to having miracles happen in your life. I see it happen over and over again with people.
I agree. It's a powerful thing. Yes. Very powerful. One more quick one?
Well, the other universal cure-all, as far as I'm concerned, is gratitude lists. We were talking about that before. There's nothing more powerful than being grateful for what the abundance. I mean, just think about the abundance that we have in our lives every single day, and it's really interesting to notice that. You wake up in the morning and you have a million billion things you could be thankful for. I can see, I can hear, I can walk, I can talk. I got food in my refrigerator. I have, a lovely tree outside my window. I have a computer. I have a phone. And what do? We focus on the one or two things in our lives that are not working for us. Right. And if you know that the universal law says what you focus your attention on and your experience grows, that's not a very intelligent strategy. So therefore, gratitude lists. I mean, I would suggest to nearly everyone that, you get out a piece of paper and you write at the top of the piece of paper, I am grateful for, and then just start writing. Right. And I mean to be very specific. As I said, I can walk, I can talk, I can hear, I can see.
See all those beautiful things. Well, I want to thank you again. It's always a joy and pleasure to have you on the show, Barbara. So everyone go to Beam Team, and right on that first page, you'll see you can sign up for a free book, a free ebook. So don't miss out on that. And until the next time, Barbara, that we get together. Thank you so much. I'm in gratitude
Thank you for having me,
for your
Deborah.
wisdom and coming on the show. And everyone that's listening and beyond to another planet or cosmo, think about what we're talking about and know that we are all one. We are all part of this one life force. Au revoir.
Are you seeking a clearer path to love? Then tune in to the Love by Intuition show next week. All designed to your highest good. To contact Deborah Buffet, owner of Empowered Connections, call her at 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or link on to lovebyintuition.com. Remember, we are all one, and we are all part of the miracle of love.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.